Good afternoon, folks. It's your man all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Now we are here, and this is my partner, ex Rukun, Jared, and
Yo,
introduce
yo.
yourself to hey Jared, introduce yourself to the family and the folks, and we're going to be talking about a show that happened about a couple of weeks ago. As you know,
Like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah, a couple, 2 weeks ago, yeah, and that was the Europa Championship Pro. Now, it was a show that was done in Europe. It was done in overseas at was it
Spain.
Spain, and uh, we'll talk about you know the competitors, the competition. Also, I'm going to mention also that about a lady who passed away at that show later on. But anyway, we'll get started. As you know, this was also a qualifier for the Olympia, and this is surprising that two ladies qualified for the show. I think last year was about the same because I know last year, and it was the two of the ladies is one was Margita Zamalova, and the lady we sadly we missed, and she last year she competed at the show, and she was able to qualify for Olympia, but she didn't go because I think with issue with travel or just height of the virus, and that was Miss Alina Havani Kosanava. I think that. I'm sorry if I chop up her name. I apologize.
Wait a minute. Who the other person who qualified? It's Sylvia Mata.
Maddie. She qualified, and I follow Miss Maddie on social media. I reached out to her, I said congratulations, and she was very happy. She's been competing for some time. We haven't seen her compete since 2019 at the Rising Phoenix, and she's also she's a Wigan Strength ambassador. So now she gets a shot to the Olympia. So in that show there was they showed it was like originally the plan was it was supposed to be 11 ladies, and one lady dropped out. That was Anastasia Kovalova. I think if I got her name right, Anastasia. And she, I follow her on social media. I reach out to her. She says she's going to do the Romanian Muscle Fest, and this is a big girl. She's a Russian, and she's like pure muscle. I think, and the Romanian Muscle Fest is truly a show for true female bodybuilders. I mean, I think that's a true female bodybuilding show because last year Virginia Sanchez won, and I think she's the only one of the few true female bodybuilders that won a show. Seems like a lot of the shows have been winning by former physique competitors who switched. I think the only show outside of this year that has been won by a true bodybuilder is Muna Posella. She's always been a bodybuilder. She competed as a bodybuilder when she was amateur, and that's the only woman right now who has competed. Also, I think that's pretty much it. So as you know, the winning show was Miss Margita Zamalova, and as we talked about before, Margita was one of the top contenders for qualifier, and I think she had 17 points, and now that has changed. She's no longer. I think who's the top qualifier now? If you can drop it to me, my sage and Hannah the King.
Yeah. Okay. So the top three to qualify for the points currently is Janine Lakowski at 11, Stephanie Flesher at 10, and Monique Jones at 9. And you got a whole bunch that are like that could get some points that could put them over the top, depending on where they place at Savannah.
Mm-hmm. And surprised is also that one lady who I thought would be possibly in this show for the Savannah would have been Christina Mendoza. But from what I saw on social media, she said she wanted to drop out. Her and her coach had to work on a few things, and she can come back next year. I'm like, it's kind of funny. She already applied for the Rise of Phoenix, which is an invitational. And I'm thinking to myself, why skip, because you have opportunity. You are probably the probably most definitely the top shot winner, but whatever reason she did. But anyway, we'll get back to the Europa show. As you know, there was originally 11 ladies, and it dropped to 9. As you know, one lady dropped out, and then we know what happened with the other.
Yep.
And those 9 ladies was first off, you had Margita Zamalova, who won the show, which made her qualify for the
Olympia.
Olympia, and then Savamati from Italy, which gave her opportunity to qualify for the Olympia. Then also a couple ladies who I'm just going by the first names. So I don't want to chop out the names.
Yep.
Second place went to actually third place went to Karina. This is kind of easy. Karina Igman. She's from Great Britain, and she's been a while. I think she was originally competing as a physique competitor, but she made the switch. Now fourth place, a lady from Brazil named Santos. And fifth place was a lady from Spain, Miss Felicia. And that was the top 5 contenders. And, one thing was, I feel like, personally, I feel like Margita was going to, might as well just sit out. You already have a bye to the Olympia, you have 17 points. And, but I think she really wanted to take this opportunity because she already won the show a while back. She made her and the late Elena Havadi both made top 2. They were both double checks. That's is a joke.
Yep.
And and that's now she has another shot to Olympia. What do you think? How will you face your place?
All right. In terms of placing, so I'm going to go over a few things because I got a lot of notes here. In terms of like who has been doing this the longest, Sylvia and Margita, they've both been like, in terms of like who's been doing shows, they've both done like the most amount of shows of any of the competitors, bar none, like combined pretty much. Like Margita goes back to 2016, Sylvia goes back to 2000. And in terms of who has been a female former women's physique, if we added Elena, if she had competed on stage, there would have been 9 former physique competitors on stage. 9 that I know of. In fact, I think the only one that I could even find was Tanja Roy. Besides that, literally every other one is a former physique competitor. Except Anastasia, but she didn't compete.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
so pretty much. So we're looking pretty much at non-stop former physiques coming into the women's category. Take of that what you will, what you think that is. I thought them placing first and second, that kind of made sense. Igman, I thought her placing third was probably pretty balanced for the most part. She has been she doesn't have that many shows. She's done a lot of amateurs. I think this is actually her first pro, so that's pretty good on her. She's got an amazing back. You can go on Instagram and check it out. So that's pretty good placing. If Elena or Anastasia had competed, I had both of them somewhere in the top 5 before, what happened. So that kind of put like a little bit of a, had to change things up, to say the least, when I was calculating. So we got third, and then we got fourth for Sanots. That's her last name. And she got fourth. Let me go check her scores here, because I got all their where they've competed over the years. Like I got a giant list. Where's it at? Okay. 2019 NPC Worldwide Amateur Olympia Brazil. First in women's physique B class, and that's when she earned her pro card. And she competed at Mr. Big Evolution Pro Women's Physique fourth, and then just switched over to bodybuilding here.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, that's not even the first time I've seen that too. Like, I think there's like at least another woman that's competed at the Mr. Big Evolution Pro that was either also physique 2 and went into this bodybuilding. It's a interesting trend. No, literally, it's right here underneath. Felicia, I'm not going to say the last name. She also competed as physique 2 at the Mr. Big Evolution Pro. So, what do you think the reason is for that? When I was watching the live stream, the commentator, when I was watching it, he said maybe it could be because of the poses are different. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, with physique, they only have 5 mandatory poses. They cut out 2 poses, which is the front and rear lat spread, which I think some people say they consider too masculine for the division. And as you know, when they do the front double, it's an open hand style. You know, I was watching. I was like, a while back, I was watching a clip. Somebody posted a clip from the Puerto Rico show, and in that and then competing in that show was Heather Grace. Now, Heather Grace has been for quite some time a women's physique competitor, and she took third at that show. Her physique was pretty impressive. She could have got higher, but she was stumbling when she was doing the poses. She was doing physique poses, and like opening her hand, and she had sometimes to catch herself. And I thought it's one thing you need to do. Like if you go think about switching, she switched kind of like midway through, and she just jumped over quick. She should have took the time, load the poses, and she's been in sport for a long time. She's seen the poses, but it's hard to break out of your habit,
Yeah, I think also Igman was also doing women's physique poses as well on stage. Either I'm remembering, I'm not 100% sure, but I remember her poses were a bit different than what I could remember. Yeah, it's hard to break out of those old poses. So we got 5th place was Felicia.
Yeah, leave it Felicia. I'm not going to say it. Don't say the name either. That's why I said Felicia.
Yep, she's from Spain. And then we got 6th place, which is Roy from Belgium. From what I remember from her, she had a very bad tan. I remember that being commented on. I don't know if that hurt her or not, but she did have a very bad tan. And I also just want to go to the very back, to the 9th place, because I want to talk about Tokes.
From Great Britain.
Yeah, from England or Great Britain. There's literally 2 people from Britain. One says United Kingdom, the other says England. What? I don't get that, but
what sometimes it is that I think Igman might live someplace, like she might live Wales or Scotland, depending on, because when we do it, it's like United Kingdom, and then I think Tokes, she might live in England. So
Yeah,
so
in
when
England proper.
yeah. So if you live in the main um, the main area or whatever you call it, you're gonna you're gonna call it I live in England, and that other person, she lives in one of the colonies. You might used to say the Commonwealths. You might say it. They're gonna call it
Uh,
United Kingdom.
they're they're within Great Britain or the United Kingdom. They're called, I think, counties or no countries. So it's like it's confusing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like I know this because that's where my family originally was from Scotland of all places. In fact, um, the castle in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Hmm.
I think it was the French castle. That castle is actually owned by some cousin or relative that's still probably in Scotland somewhere. That I'm probably some ancestor I'm probably related to, because their name is very similar to my last name as well.
You might be heir to a castle someday, son. Yeah.
I
You might.
wish.
I know this. Well, my last name is MacArthur. It's in it. Where I would find it's a Scottish name, but it was given to me. But you never know.
Yeah,
How it is. But anyway, I'm gonna show you some
but
quick picture. I'm gonna show a quick picture of because I follow. Like I said, I follow. Savamati, and it's just because they wear masks on the stage when they are together, and they don't wear a mask when they do this. So Salva looks pretty good. I
let
mean,
me look
this
at that.
is yeah.
Yeah.
She looks
Salva.
pretty.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. They're
I
looking really
mean, yeah,
nice.
yeah. I mean, nice suit. I mean, and she looks really. I mean, she's real put together. I mean, she has like the last couple of Rise of Phoenix, she has won for I think was it best poser or most muscular? I know she won a couple of awards in the past for the Rise of
Yeah.
Phoenix. And here's the thing about Savamati. People don't if you don't watch if you never watch the Rise of Phoenix shows, you used to have a 2 minute introduction video.
Yeah.
And this lady is an archaeologist. She digs
Ooh.
bones for a living. She's an archaeologist. And you wouldn't think this woman here, this big muscular woman from Italy, is that in something so you know intelligent. You might say. Most bodybuilders you don't think are that smart. There's quite a few who
Well,
have
I
doctorates.
know. Yeah, I know. Christy Hawkins. She's got a. What is she like? I don't know. She's like some kind of doctor. Works for like some like a
She's
bio.
microbiology.
Yeah, she's very
Also,
smart.
yeah, she's
And you also got uh, let me
Dina
see.
Westerfield.
Dina
Dr. Dina West.
Westerfield. Yep.
She's a
She's a
chiropractor.
doctor.
She's a
Uh,
chiropractor.
yep.
And there's a lady by the name of Tina Zampa, who's you remember her? She was really huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a birthday video about a while ago. She retired some time ago. She's a paralegal. That means maybe she's might be right now. I mean, she might try to get her a law degree.
Yeah.
You gotta be intelligent to do work like that. You honestly gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Um. Oh,
good.
I remember what I was saying now.
Go ahead.
I was talking about Tokes. Okay, so when I saw her, I knew immediately. Um, she's a bit older. I thought, okay, maybe she could play somewhere. But then I saw that she's got some, what do you call it, stretch marks or lines or whatever on her,
Abdominals.
at the bottom of her abdominals. Yeah,
That means
underneath
she
belly button.
might have had children. Because that I see
Ye-
that with quite a few female bodybuilders who are a little older, they have kids, and that's probably what it is. She has kids.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what placed her so low at the ninth. Because when I saw that, I was like immediately, like right away, unless you can cover that up really good, And honestly, I think that's where tattoos should come in for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but I think maybe the judge saw it and gave her accordingly. I think she would do well in masters, honestly. Like
Hmm.
if she was doing masters, there should definitely be more masters brought in.
Yeah, I think I was talking that with Tracy Rugged and debate about doing masters, and I think she mentioned about she's thinking about doing something like that because she competed at masters at the Tampa Bay because they had a masters class, and Miss Mary Ann Wykowski, yes, I got it right. She
There you go.
also does masters, you know, and, and just like I said, it's starting to become a growing um, thing now. I think there's a lot of women who are over 50, some in their mid 40s. I did an interview with another lady, like a couple of ladies who competed in masters in their bodybuilding career. That's Mrs. Wendy Sanchez and Miss Shay Chada, and we talked about that, and it's a way to go. Now, any more competitors you want to talk about in the bodybuilding, or I might just move on to physique next.
Um, I don't know. Are you interested at all?
Yeah, go
Other
ahead.
than
Go ahead. Say,
um, I guess I'm just going through. I got my photos of prior to what the competition of like them posing, so I could be like figure out like where I would place them if I was judging ahead of time. So I'm
hmm
just opening these up real quick and going through and seeing. I was definitely sure that Zamilova was going to win it, but
hmm
um, uh, and did they say at all why it was why it was um, uh, uh, Sylvia, why she got is it just because that's what all the competitors got a qualification as well for second place, or I'm not 100% sure about
Well,
that.
when I talked to some of the ladies, what it is because there's so few shows overseas in Europe. You only had the Portugal show. You got that show right there in Spain, and I think you're supposed to have two shows in Romania because there's such a small amount of qualification. She took second place. That gave us qualification also. That happened last year with we had a show last year because Margita won that show, the same show last year, and Alina Havani took second place. But Alina couldn't come over because I think for the virus is going around at the time.
Yeah,
I think and also the expense of traveling. You got to do a 2 week quarantine, and I think she had kids. So I think she probably was thinking. I know I talked to some ladies who I follow overseas, and they said the reason why they didn't compete because some of them do have children and they want to, be here because we're not too smart with protection. And I think
yeah,
that's why Alina didn't compete. She qualified because also in that same show there was two physique competitors. That was Barbara Majan and Ann Moon. They both qualified for the Olympia, and what they did a quarantine in Mexico, and then they were able to come here and do the show. And Barbara Majan took fourth place, and didn't do too well.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, just commenting a little bit more. I think Yan- Yashina Garcia.
I said
Um,
Garcia.
yeah. Um, I think from the photo I saw of her prior, I was a bit disappointed, honestly, that she got eighth. I didn't think she came in as um, good as she could have came in. And I also think because eighth place, that's like um, um, Felicia. I also think Felicia. I think. Masters would also be good for her too.
Hmm.
'Cause I think she's also getting up there in age too. And besides that, overall, how would you rate the European Pro outside of uh, Elena Hat
Have
Hatvina
have Annie.
Havani?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go into that real quick because um, apparently from the story I heard she collapsed literally like a few minutes or seconds before she was supposed to get on stage.
Hmm. From what the information I also get, I think it was right about time she was getting prepped. I think they said she was getting prepped, and she was just maybe a few minutes from competing. She fainted. They tried to revive her at the Coliseum or the stadium where they were at. They rushed her to the hospital. Stories said that she died on arrival, or she died. They couldn't revive her. If anybody, if you follow me, I made it. I placed in one of my videos I made, which was video because I did a Sunday discussion where I invited some professional bodybuilders, and in the if you check, all you gotta do is check my YouTube. You can find a Sunday discussion, and I put in a link, which is a GoFundMe, because she's in Spain, and because of what things going on with the price and anything, everything like that, they have to pay the cost to bring her body back to Czech Republic. I try to pay for it. But the thing is, it's going by euros. So
Yeah,
if you live over in Europe, you listen to my show, you're a subscriber, donate to her, try to get her home. She won't be buried home. I think her children and her husband want to be there. Have her come home. I mean, it's expensive. I
yeah,
think it's been 7,000 euros, and that's probably how much that in American. And I think it's pretty expensive. As you know, there was another bodybuilder former bodybuilder, Christy Enos, who passed away. She was overseas in Ireland, and they did a GoFundMe for her services and also bring her body back. Especially with the thing going on with the virus, that's also going to be a lot of quarantine, all that like that. That's a long time to hold a body. That is most
yeah,
definitely a long time to hold a body.
yeah, yeah. I know how that can be. We had to put our Jack Russell Terrier dog down. Last November, we had her for like 13 years. Um, and when we had to put her down, we couldn't even be inside the building. Um, so we were literally just out. We had to go to like this, like, um, what do you call it? The back area, side entrance. We had to wheel her out on like what do you call it? Like a bed or like the little
Like
bed
a
she was
gurney,
on.
it's like a gurney, something
Yeah,
like
yeah. And then we had to put her down out there. And we couldn't get the body back either. But they did give us the ashes back in a nice container, so with her name on it. So that was at least nice of them. But yeah, that was it's not fun. It's not fun with the COVID going on, and you have to deal with loved ones dying or anything like that. It's
that.
I know how that can be.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So anyway, as we're talked about that situation, let's move on to the next division. It's a growing division. I like just mention it, and that is women's physique. And the winner of that show is Ann Moon. And if you know anything, and she competed last year at the Olympia. She qualified for this. Last year also with her and her another competitor, Barbara Manjan. Barbara took fourth place at that show, and I follow her on social media. I reach out to her, says she's just getting ready and prepping for the uh, for the Olympia. Also, I even made a compliment to Ann Moon when she posted on her IG that she looked pretty good. And at one point I was thinking that maybe she might switch to uh, women's bodybuilding. I think she has a small waist. She has impressive physique. But I think a lot of ladies say they rather stay in their division where they're more comfortable with because they, sometimes they don't want to deal with the size of the bigger girls. Anyway, what's happened? Yeah. My partner just put himself on mute. So but anyway, that show,
Sorry about that.
and
Just
that's all right.
doing something. I didn't want any sound in the background. But yeah,
Uh,
yes, it is growing. And you think she should compete as bodybuilding?
I think about it because she looks pretty impressive. She puts on a little size. She's a tall woman. I think she's about maybe 5'7", 5'8", a big
Yeah.
French woman. And it's thing is we were talking about this that with I was talking with some of the ladies that physique should have a weight guideline limit. Because maybe around about 130, 140. Because what it did is push the bigger girls into bodybuilding. They don't want to go there, because they have to get a little more size. But I think it's fair, because there's a lot of women who have a tough time competing. We got women who are just way bigger than you. But anyway, as I said, the top 5 of this show, as you know, and Moon. Second was Paraguay from Thailand. I recognize I've seen before. She's competed in the Physique Olympia for quite a few times. Third is Laura Chinchilla. Now she's from Spain. She competed at the Portugal Pro, and she also competed at the Olympia. And I remember she was saying she wanted to switch over to women's bodybuilding, and she's pretty impressive. I think she has big shoulders. If she put on just maybe a little more size, she would be a great bodybuilder. I mean, fourth is Elena Romero from Spain. This show was in Spain. It got a lot of Spaniards.
Yeah.
And fifth is Raluca Duca. Now she's from Romania, and she competed she was a physique competitor. She's a physique competitor. She competed at the Muscle Fest in women's bodybuilder. Now she's switching back.
Yeah, because in IFB, you can switch from one competition to the next, like figure or fitness or women's physique or bodybuilding. Yeah, that gives you the choice.
Yeah, I know. Was it last year? I know Zamanova was double dipping. She was doing both women's bodybuilding and women's physique, and I think a couple other bodybuilders, like I said again, Heather Grace. I think she jumped back and forth a bit, and I think because with women bodybuilding is really getting, I think it's getting back to popularity that it used to have back in the day.
Yeah, especially with the Olympia.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the Rising Phoenix. I mean, not Rising, Wing of Strength, which really promotes really truly promotes women bodybuilding. Give the opportunity, And I remember Alina Popa did a video where she has been approached by physique competitors and bikini competitors, but they said Wings of Strength is for women's bodybuilding. Now, if you want to get involved with Wings of Strength, you have to be a bodybuilder. Yeah. And some women don't like that, but the fact is, I think the other divisions have a better shot because the fact is they have more support from the IFBB.
Sponsors, and sponsors. Yeah.
But the thing is not as sponsors per se. Most of the sponsors are more focused on the men. And physique competitors don't give as much sponsors they like compared to like their female bodybuilder counterparts. Bikini, because a lot of the girls look like a certain type, they can use them as models, whatever else.
Yeah.
And also wellness is about the same. Not so much fitness and figure, because the women are a little bit more. If you look at when you look at the fitness and figure women, most of them are borderline like physique. That's that's why some women like Tracy Rugged, who I did an interview with, she did figure for a while, and she switched to physique. A couple other ladies had done figure for some time, switched to physique. If you think about it, figure, could be just like to me it's like lightweight female bodybuilding, while physique's more like middleweight.
And then you got heavyweight, which is bodybuilding.
Yeah. Now, right here, I got a picture. This is more Miss Raduca, and wow, whew,
Yeah,
she's really impressive. I mean,
looking like a very lightweight bodybuilder in that
yeah,
pose. Yeah,
yeah, she has a good amount of size, not development. Uh, you
I
know,
guess the only downside, I guess, is the abdominal area that she needs to work on. But besides that, yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing. I think the one thing is also two things I think the judges look at is the abdominals and the back, because those are I think I often say like this: if you have a good genetics, you have like so one of the greatest women who have the great set of abdominals is my dear friend Miss Roxanne Edwards and one Miss Asher Hadley. They have the best set of abs in the bodybuilding for female. And up there you got Body Priest and you got Krista Bach and a couple others who I'm not gonna think of right now because I'm looking at this lady right here. Wow. And I'm hoping she may. I don't know if she'll do too well in physique. She took fifth place in this show, and even if you take some of the ladies, they would say even if they take the bottom 16, 15, they still wouldn't want to switch over. And unless the judges, they get a critique from the judges because the judges, they approach the judges, ask them, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? The judge will tell them because the judges are the ones looking at the body. And
yeah,
Laura Chinchilla, if I got the name right, she wanted to do women's bodybuilding at the Portugal, but the judges said don't do it. But she did fourth place at that show. So and she took third at this show. And the debate is I think she's running through her head, said, "Well, I'm not going top. I'm not doing this well. Maybe I should switch." She might do it. You
yeah.
know, she has still a couple more shows overseas. It's most definitely have the Valhalla show. That's in Romania, and also the Muscle Fest. That's also going to come up in the end of the year, I think. And what that show is that it's a winter strength show, and the points go for next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when the new season starts, so to
Mm.
speak.
And one time I was saying, like, you know what, winter strength is, there was that show in Texas, the Texas Pro,
Yeah,
and I did a video where I think winter strength should do a show in Texas. Texas is becoming a growing mecca for bodybuilding. Back in the day, it was California, Muscle Beach, Long Beach. You got the Gold's Gym, the World's Gym. I mean, the Weeders. I think the Weeder family had the IFB based in California, but you know, then you also have Florida, because I think it's about the weather. The weather is
yeah,
mostly warm year round. Other than with Florida, you get hurricanes there now and then. With California, you get the fires. Texas, where they had that nasty snowstorm. I was talking to Miss Shay Machada, and she said it was cold for her life out. It was hard for them for that month or so after that snowstorm hit. It's really messed up Texas. But you rarely ever have any bad storms. Other maybe you might have like I know you had Maria hit through Houston, and maybe a couple of tornadoes there now and then, but rarely the weather's. I think it's probably decent. As you know, my dear friend Miss Brittany Big Lemonade Brooks, she's from Texas, and I think that's a coming a new mecca. I said like this: do a show. I mean, don't do it in Dallas because especially you want to save some money. Don't do it in Dallas, Houston, or San Antonio. I think the show they did was in I think it was Irving. I would say do it in Austin, which is it's a reasonable town, it's a very popular
yeah,
town. It's a very progressive town.
yeah.
Or I'm trying to think. I said Austin, and also I say Galveston. That's like it's
A
a
coastal town.
it's a
I know
coastal
what you're
town.
talking about. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And also it's one that just popped in my head because one of my favorite wrestlers, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, son. That's the bottom line. He's from there, Victoria, Texas. So I think that might be a little cheaper. They do it Victoria. Austin and Galveston be good, but I think it probably for reasons to maybe save a few bucks, Victoria probably a good place to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I generally agree, and I do agree there has been a lot of female bodybuilders from Texas, and just bodybuilders in general from Texas, I've noticed lately. Yeah, to cultivate it over there definitely would be a good idea. I do definitely agree with those kind of areas. That would be good place to host it at. Yeah, there isn't that many female bodybuilders from my home state of Pennsylvania. Sort of, yeah. I mean, there's outside of the Pittsburgh, Pro. Um, there's no real bodybuilding competitions here, and the weather is okay.
In the summer.
Even in the winter time, it's not as bad as you would think. Like, like because of the weird climate we got sometimes. It's like there's certain winters where we get no snow and it's almost completely warm, and there's other winters where it's like we'll just get like snowstorm after snowstorm after snowstorm. And that's just the weirdness of the freak weathers. We might also get like a hurricane that comes through every now and then when you're living in southeast Pennsylvania, like I am, right outside of Philadelphia, 30 minutes outside of Philly. But overall, I mean, the Delaware Valley area is pretty nice. I mean, I live in like a little, a bowl almost. Like I'm inside a bowl. I got like this giant area, and there's lots of trees and everything else. I mean, it's really lovely to be around. And but yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just viewed as a stuffy old folks state. I guess that's the only thing I could think of. And
Well, with Philadelphia, with Pennsylvania, you think about the two cities in that is Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And Pittsburgh's the home of the Steelers. Philadelphia, home of Bugsy
Eagles.
Love and the Eagles. I mean, and you think about that's how you think about it. In my state, North Carolina, I think we still have some shows in North Carolina, mostly not female bodybuilder shows. Back in the day, one of the most popular shows that used to come in North Carolina was Jantana. And Jantana was switched between North Carolina and Virginia. And they had it in Charlotte. And it was like, if anybody knows the Jantana was the first and one of the only few standalone women's shows. There was no attached to men's show. There was no male competitors. It was all female bodybuilders. And now the show that kind of takes its place is the Arizona Pro, aka the Rising Phoenix, where it's a completely all ladies show. No men, no guy. This is just for the ladies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that, the Jantana Pro. Yeah, there was like in that south area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they moved to like New York or something. And yeah, I would really like a female bodybuilding competition, maybe in Philadelphia, or for women specifically, Philadelphia or my brain is just Harrisburg. I'm blanking on the capital of my own state. Yeah, and yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just the state's very old, and there's a lot of worn out industry here. It's the old former Rust Belt, and you also got like a lot of Amish people too outside in like Lancaster County, York area.
Hershey.
Hershey, yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Where, yep. Where I've been there. Trust me, I've been all around here. I've lived here 29 years. I've pretty much been up, down, and all around the state pretty much. But yeah. Hopefully we can get some competition shows in both our states. But because for me, Pittsburgh, I mean, it's kind of like foreign to me almost. It's there, but it's like it's so far away. It's like it's almost like it's its own thing. You know what I'm saying?
hmm Yeah, because there's a lady, great lady who I mentioned earlier, Miss Mary Ann Wachowski. She's from Pittsburgh. She's from Philly. She's from Philly, Pennsylvania. She said she don't live that far from Philly, and she's a great lady. She's very amazing. She's very introverted, and I think it's just you have to find the fan base, and I know you just want to be all women's show, but the fact is you gotta bring them in, bring in the crowds, and that's how it is. It's just
Yep.
it is what it is. But Texas, like I said again, will be a great place for William Straight to create another show. A qualifier. Also, this is something I keep suggesting. They need to, allow or to make women's masters. You know,
Yep.
because it's a great. Like I said, I was talking with Miss Machada and Miss Rugged that they really feel like they need a place for themselves because they get on stage with the most younger women and sometimes the women who've been competing a lot longer, who started in the sport in their 20s and early 30s, and these ladies who started more like later in life. Miss Rugged, she said she took time off to have a daughter and to focus on. She did powerlifting for a while. Uh, Miss Machada Shea, she got into it because for health benefits, and she just loves it. But they feel like it's tough for them.
Yeah.
With you stand beside someone like Stephanie Fletcher, this chick is huge. She wasn't a big competitor, but she's huge. And right now she's on a mission right now. I respect her mission, but be careful what you do in this mission. And people like you got mass monsters like Monique Jones and Irene Anderson and Helen Trevino and Margie V. Martin, and you can't forget the champ herself, Andrea Shaw. I mean,
Yep.
yeah. And like I said, and this is my man, my brother, XA Gucci 23 says, "Hey George Page, hey XA, thank you for coming by. He always supports my content. I support his. So hey XA." And then also like Texas, you can use somebody like if you know remember Betty Pariso, she's a promoter in Texas, even though she kindly stabbed Fury Bobby in the back by dropping it from her show, the Europa. She's in Texas, and all she got to do is like, or let's say it like this, get together with Jake Woods, Tim Gardner. She's in Texas. She knows how things work. Maybe try to, like I said, create another show. Like where do we do it? Like if you can put it somewhere right between this time, like you like say you had a Tampa Bay. Once everything gets settled, they get to because with the thing going on, they get everything straightened out and place the shows where usually used to be placed at. Go back to same old, or maybe not. Try to put a show where you have like 2 or 3 weeks of a blank spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that little space right there where competitors would love to have something to do because they just prepping wherever you want to, still after to do a show, they still want to see, I'm still shredded, I'm still in my condition. I just want to do a show and see how I do. And also, this is for another of my brothers, the Underrated Darkness, the number one grinder. He came by. I'd like to thank him. The number one grinder. He's pretty cool. And also, my condolences to his lost his brother, his second oldest brother. We talked about it. I can understand. I lost my brother, and but like I said, and also you have somebody like Mila Ash. Now, Mila Ash is from Texas, and she's number 4 in the Olympia, and she would be somebody you could use as a representative or who can lay the bricks down for a possible show. Um, I think that would be a great idea. You get somebody who's a former pro who competed, like Betty Pariso, who's been a sponsor and who's been doing shows for quite some time, and you got somebody like Mila, who is a competing IFB by being pro and a number 4 Olympian competitor. You can really develop, a show somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you want to know something that's really crazy?
What?
So Irish Kyle has her own show that she sponsors in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Japan Pro.
Mm-hmm.
There's no women's bodybuilding to it,
Well, what I
and
heard. Go ahead.
I don't know if that's because maybe there's not a lot of female bodybuilders in Japan, or maybe there's not enough competitors in that area in general, or I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, I just find that a little bit strange. It's like I go through the list and it's like there's women's physique, but no women's bodybuilding.
Well,
And she's yep,
the problem with that is, like I said, there's not a lot of female bodybuilders in that area. There is a growing number,
yeah,
especially if you might want to go away from Japan, like Philippines, India, maybe around Singapore. But because when physique is more realistically possible, that's why they have it. Because I know her being the ten time uh, Miss Olympia, and yesterday was her birthday. So
yep. Happy birthday.
yeah, I sent her a video and a picture. She thanked me. I really appreciate that. That was
Yeah.
that was nice of her. I'd like to do an interview with her, but I remember she made a comment says that she has other responsibilities. But maybe I'll ask her again. I might ask her again, and maybe she might do it. That's all I can do is ask.
Yep.
But like I said, in that area, you have like probably like countries like North Korea. You have quite a few bodybuilders out of China, like Olivia Yoong,
Yeah.
and she competes. And there's a lady who I mentioned a few before, Kim Young. She's from South Korea. She took third place at the New York Pro, but hadn't been doing too good in the last few shows. She competed at Bray, and she tied for 16th, next to bottom 16th. And I said to I think she should do women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think she has some of the features. I think she just need to put on a little more size, and there's a good chance that I think she could do women's bodybuilding. It'd probably be a better division for her. She can like. His thing is, she can like stay here if she has a visa. If somebody could be a sponsor. That's what
Yep.
I think a lot of the women who live overseas want to come here because there's more opportunities for them here.
Shows. Yeah.
Yeah, more shows. I think also like one thing is like if we get more shows overseas, that's also I've talked about. More shows like you can do like this, the South Pacific and somewhere around Central Europe or not Central Europe, like somewhere around Great Britain or France. Because there's a lot of bodybuilders that live around the South Pacific. Competitors such as Kristen Lay, she's from Australia. Abby Jimenez, she's from Philippines. Abby is, if you follow her, Abby is huge. She competed as physique, but she has got some gains on her. And right now with the Philippines, it's gonna be a while before they ever do any travel because their president is very strict. He's a madman and a dictator, and I think there's a lot of competitors who would love the opportunity to come here and compete. But the problem is, it's this cost of traveling, the expense, and now with this virus going around, you got to do 2 weeks quarantine in a certain country. You do the 2 weeks, you come in, and that's the thing. I think a lot of competitors should do like this. If you could, you got to spend with other competitors like here, like ones like ladies that didn't live in Canada that compete, like Mona Porcella, or also a lady
Yep.
who I'm following by name of Malene Perron, who competed at Chicago Pro. She had to do 2 weeks in quarantine before she get back into Canada. And we're doing an interview last week with Miss Marianne. She mentioned to me that one of the competitors was coming to Canada with her husband. He couldn't come in for some reason. I forgot what it was. He told me he had to go back all the way back home to Canada by himself.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Canada can let you come in, but you have to be have you revaccinated,
Yeah.
and also you need a reason, a permanent reason, because they're going to have the Toronto Pro in December. and that's also more possibly a qualifier. But the problem is, a lot of American competitors who don't have a legit reason to be in Canada can't go. Oh, they can come here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do 2 weeks quarantine in and 2 weeks quarantines out. You know, but the Toronto was, I think it's a pretty good show, and now it's like I think somebody said we're talking about maybe moving it, but I think because Canada's this is the only show they got. They say yeah, got quite a few other shows, but this is one of the more bigger shows, for Olympia qualifier. So I think they're going to hold it in Canada. So a lot of women, I think it's mostly going to be Canadian bodybuilders and probably bodybuilders that, as you know, Canada is part of, it's per se, it's like a Commonwealth of the UK, kind of
Yeah.
like with some of the others. So that means that other citizens, like Mona Porcella, she competed at the Muscle Fest, and I think something to do with the EU, and she probably had to do a quarantine. But America, we still have restrictions, and a lot of people can't come in. They want to come in, and a lot of people can't get out when they want to go out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mess here. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to just end it here because I gotta feed my cat. He needs his food, and he's gonna just be complaining nonstop if I don't give him that. He's a big boy, so.
Well, I appreciate.
I think this was a really good talk, though, and we'll think of something for next time. I'll brainstorm.
All right, we'll put something together. So, like I say, everybody say thank you, Jared. Appreciate his time, and and go ahead and let him feed it to little
Y'all
kitty
have
cat.
a good one. Anytime. See y'all later.
All righty. Anyway, this was good talk. We talked about the Europa Championships. I appreciate my brothers, XA Gucci 23, and the number one grinder, the underweight darkness. I appreciate y'all time. I appreciate everybody coming through. Appreciate my man Jared. Like I said, support female bodybuilding. Support these ladies. They are true athletes. They're elite athletes, and usually respect. And as I said again, this is my rule to anybody. When you see some comments or anything, or be ladies on social media, no D pics. Be respectful. Most of these women are married. They have families. They have husbands. You don't want to get beat down. Anyway, this is your man all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.